Salary ranges have come to New York City job postings. This month, a new salary transparency law took effect that requires most employers to provide good faith salary ranges on job posts.
The significance of all of this is huge. Pay information has been secret for decades.
But since the legislation went into effect, job seekers are finding that some companies are sidestepping the new regulation by listing salary ranges so wide that they stretch hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, does this loophole mean New York City's new law isn't effective? Pay transparency laws exist to different degrees in some states in the U.S., but Colorado, and now New York City, stand out in that they require this information in job postings. Experts say New York City's salary disclosure law may be especially impactful because of the size of the city's economy and the number of companies there. New York City is now the biggest job market in the U.S. to require employers to list pay ranges in job ads.
This law has national implications because if a job could conceivably be done in New York, employers would have to comply with it. And that applies to remote roles as well. And already we're starting to see companies across the US begin to list pay for remote roles wanting to comply with the New York legislation.
Officials say the New York City law helps eliminate inherent bias in setting employee salaries. Last year, the Pew Research Center found that women earned around 84% of what men earned in 2020. That gap has narrowed significantly from 40 years ago, when women earned around 64% of what men did.
Lawmakers and other supporters hope laws like this will lead to more equitable workplaces, will lead to more fairness in the process, and will help to sort of level the playing field really from the moment someone gets hired.
New York's law did face pushback from prominent business groups like the Partnership for New York City, which said the legislation was overly burdensome for employers who needed more time to comply with the new rules.
Ultimately, the city did give companies more time, and the city pushed back the implementation of the law from May until November of this year. Right now, the Partnership for New York City said most employers are on board with this. They may not be thrilled about it, but they're largely complying.
Since the transparency law went into effect, companies have pursued a variety of approaches to disclosure.
Some companies still aren't complying at all. Others are posting really broad ranges. Some companies have had ranges that vary only by $5,000. And so it's a really mixed picture so far.
The roles that have attracted the most attention are those with wide salary ranges. A trauma surgeon in the Mount Sinai Health System could earn anywhere from $384,000 to $800,000 or more. A tax executive at PricewaterhouseCoopers could make $158,000, or nearly triple that. A radiologist position at another Mount Sinai hospital listed a job that could pay as much as $525,000, or roughly half that amount at $260,000.
One of the really fuzzy parts of this law is what constitutes a good faith range, because employers have made the case that sometimes ranges need to be super broad because they don't know who they want to recruit for a role. Job seekers have said that more specific ranges are more helpful.
The agency tasked with enforcing the law is New York City's Commission on Human Rights, which will rely mostly on citizen complaints to investigate companies that post jobs without the pay range listed. It's unclear whether the city's Commission on Human Rights will consider the broad salary ranges a good faith attempt to post salaries.
One co-sponsor of the latest legislation told me that there may need to be additional legislation, quote, soonish, to address the fact that there are overly broad ranges. This council member said that he would like to see a mechanism, for example, that prevents ranges that are double the minimum and maximum. So example, a range from $60,000 to $120,000 he would see as unacceptable.